Hey guys, I'm trying out a new tripod here. It's a very cheap tripod that I saw online and I'm trying this out. I hope this one works well. But anyway, I'm here at the farm again to visit our poultry business. Just for those who are new here, my name is Pia. I used to be a flight attendant for over 10 years in the Middle East and an OFW as well. We came here in the Philippines for good after 12 years of working abroad, and now we do have a small layer poultry business. For those who are not familiar with layers, they are the ones producing eggs for our everyday needs. So right now we do have about 1,400 chickens laying every single day, and they're all looking at me. Right? By the way, I'm still sick, but I prefer to just go out and visit the farm. This one is actually my happy place, so I prefer just coming here even if I'm sick. And I want you to see this one, the housing. This housing here, as you can see, it's a very long aisle all the way there. It's like going to an aircraft. I resigned from my job as a flight attendant because I want to get out of the aircraft, and since this one is also a reminder of that kind of job. This is what's good about having a business here, because you actually have a hold on your time. So it's not like every day you are going to work. Well, I still treat this as my job, but not that kind of job where I have to force myself every single day to get up. There are days that I just really don't want to feel like coming here, and that is okay. The business will still go on even if I am not here. So I think that's a good thing about having this kind of business. You won't see any eggs anymore here because I have instructed my boys to do the harvest in the beginning, because they actually start picking their eggs to the point where it gets damaged. So to avoid those things to happen, I instructed them to just do the harvest in the morning after they finish their feeding. Yeah, so far their comb are really red, which is really a good sign. I think they just finished their bacterial flushing. So far it worked well on them. I don't see any more green droppings anymore here. Feels like I just had a concert last night. But anyway, I'm gonna go and check the so they're still having malting here. So this is a very good example of malting. So they don't have any feathers anymore, so soon enough it will replace. They are almost a year now with us laying eggs. So this is the second supplier that we had. So these chickens here were supposed to be 1,500, but due to mortality, which you can never really avoid, it became about 1,400 approximately now after a year. But we do have two suppliers for this kind of for these chicken. One was about 480, which is on that side. There is another building that was the first building that we had when we first started. So it had 480 Why 480? That is because one set of cage would be, the capacity would be about 48 heads, and you multiply it by 10, so it becomes 480. If you want it up to be 1000, then some of the cages probably will not be filled in. So that's why we chose to have the 480 for a start. And then the second time, since after 3 months, we decided to expand more because we realized this is really a good opportunity for us to earn money. So we decided to look for another supplier, because that time the first supplier that we had didn't have the chicken yet in 3 months time. So we decided to look for other supplier, and my tripod fell, so I have to do it like this. Anyway, I think I have to move out of this building already, because they all are scared of me. So you gotta have to be very careful when you have a layer chicken, especially when they're laying eggs already, because you don't want the eggs to break inside their bodies, because it can cause mortality as well. So for me, the second supplier was a bit off for us, because we didn't really realize that we didn't really do any background check or ask for someone regarding their own chicken, how they really raised them, only to realize that the weight is a little under. It took us a while before we got the first egg drop. The first egg drop that we had was on the 21st week, which is a little longer already, because on our first batch of the chicken that came here, the first egg drop actually came 3 days after it got delivered. Though the chickens were already on their 17th week, yeah, I think the first supplier was still okay, still better than the one that we had the second time. So yeah, my advice to those who really wanted to be in this business and start the layer business is that to do your research properly. Do not just start without any research yet, because it can be very, very tough for you, especially when you're just starting out. Having this kind of business is actually very, very expensive. I only realized that after I have made an accounting with all the money that we have spent. So that one in there is a farmhouse that costs us about almost 200,000 pesos just to build that small house. Well, it looks really small from here, but if you go inside, it's quite big. It's 1 bedroom, so our workers actually get to sleep in there and have a comfortable life. So we want them to be comfortable at least. You really have to invest on the building, though it's not gonna give you the money back, because the ones giving you the products are the chicken. So definitely you have to prioritize the health of your chicken. But of course, you also have to think about the housing, because if your chickens are not comfortable with their housing, then they can get sick very easily, and then you can get a lot of mortality. And also you have to consider the weather, especially here in the Philippines. The weather is really very unpredictable, and we have so many typhoons here. So that one you have to consider having a really good building where it is typhoon proof or weather proof at least. We leased this land for 10 years, and so you really cannot put anything concrete for the moment, like really the big structural commercial structure here. That is because the land is not really ours, though 10 years is really a long way if you really have to think about it. So for us, we only started with really small incremental growth for us, since we don't really have that much of capital, but I know that we are still growing. So right now we are building our grower slash brooder house, which is good for 1,000 layers. So we will now be starting to grow from day old chicks until they reach the laying stage of their cycle. So I think it was a very good start for us, where we started only with ready to lay chicken before we really started to grow from day old chicks. That is because brooding normally has a lot of potential mortalities, because it's like having a newborn baby, so they're very delicate. You have to be very, very careful with them. So that is why. And yeah, I think it is really, I think we are ready to start a new beginning this time. I think we already have the background on how to really raise chicken. Every day is always a learning process as well. So we will take risk, because we know that this is going to work really well. Yesterday they gave vitamins to our chicken, and now they are only giving them the water, because that's what I instructed them. Now going back to the farmhouse. As y'all can see, the land here is actually quite huge. Some people have recommended to also raise some cattle or cows, but still have, that's not on our budget yet. So we have to prioritize our chicken first before we go into that. Look! OMG! This is kalabasa?
Dili, avocado.
Di man ni kalabasa?
Kalabasa mo guna.
Mani nga na iyang form. Asa pa? Uy! Another squash! Ooh. Mm-hmm. So this one here, guys. Pampalaya. So I don't know about you guys, if you feel happy seeing your vegetables like this. Can even sell them, because I don't think we can finish all of these, but you can actually just take them if you want to. So this one. The one thing as well that you need to consider when you go into farming is that if you can bear the weather, especially here in the Philippines, when it gets rainy, it gets really wet. When it's hot, it gets really very hot and humid. So here, right now, it's past 2 in the afternoon now, and here I am outside and it's really very hot. I'm not supposed to be here, but I just wanna look at the progress here. So I think they're done with digging the hole. I think one more to go. So this is what I was talking about. So this brooder slash grower house. The capacity of this is about 1,000 birds. So it's only our own people who are digging the hole here, as well as putting all the posts. But that is because we're still waiting for the funds to be released. Hopefully this week it's going to be out. We really couldn't wait for this to finish, actually. I am very excited for all of these expansion. At the same time, I'm a bit nervous. I think it's very normal because it's going to be our first time to raise day-old pullets, or what they call day-old chicken as well, until they start laying eggs. So yeah, hopefully it will turn out really well, and then after that it will be easier for us to expand, maybe in a couple of years. The goal here is to be able to put up 5,000 chicken here that lays eggs. So it's going to be 3 more building. After this one, another 3 more building for the layer chicken. Supplier wise, we already have found for the cages that is really very cheap. Not really very cheap, at least, you know, it's way cheaper than the one that we took the cages from. A few more improvements when it comes to the building, because the building right now, the second building that we have for grower, is actually already okay. It's just that we wanna revise it a little bit because of the budget. So instead of having a steel is actually good because it's faster, but it's a bit expensive. I'm gonna go back to the farmhouse already. I was really very happy to see our squash or pumpkins are growing, and we saw a few fruits already. That's what you call them. And yeah, so the second building is actually better, but then we wanted to maximize the funds. So instead of having the, how you call this, the steel one, we would want to do the wooden housing this time.